They are part of the Rural Development Network, and they're going to tell you more about that. It's a grant that was awarded June 1st. They actually started during the pandemic, September 14th of last year. And I just wanted to tell you a little fun fact about Diana Matthews. In the orange there, she was born and raised in Indy. She considered herself a city girl, but now, after living here, wait, how many years? 25 years, yes. She said she has turned into a country girl who loves to four-wheel and paddle boat and rock climb, and so she is outdoing me. That's right. And then Shelley is a new motorcycle enthusiast, and she purchased a Polaris, right?
That's a Can-Am.
Okay. What?
It's a Can-Am Spider.
A Can-Am Spider. Well, my husband thinks he needs one of those, and so she has decided that he can go and try it out. But I'm super excited to have you on here. They're going to have a great program, so thank you so much, ladies. Come on up.
Thank you, guys.
Did you guys do this? No? Okay.
I did.
Did you do this?
Okay.
Huh?
There we go. Perfect.
Okay. Give it to me. No, I think that's
Well, I'm going to stand to not be in the way. We're going to stand. I'll stand back there.
Right there's fine. Right there.
I'm Diana Matthews, and this is Shelley Gilbert. And a little bit about our backgrounds. I'll start. I started out in about 15 years ago in senior living. Prior to that, I was a realtor, I was a probation officer, I was a youth minister at church. I've done a lot of things. But I really found my niche when I got into senior living. And I worked in skilled care and assisted living for about 15 years. And then was given this opportunity, along with Shelley, to really devote time to something that we both feel is very important. And I think you guys probably will feel it's important as well, is addressing the support and education for people living with dementia and the people who are caring for them. And we'll tell you a little bit more about statistics and why that, but that's something that was very near and dear to my heart because my father passed away about 2 years ago from Lewy body dementia. And it came on sudden, and it happened out of nowhere. And over the years of working in senior care, I got the privilege of meeting and just falling in love with many people who were living with dementia and the people who took care of them, people who loved them. And so this is a great opportunity for me to now take that passion and start to try to help others in that situation. And Shelley.
Yep, I'm Shelley Gilbert. I'm the network director with working with Diana at the Rural Dementia Network.
Speak up now. We want to hear you.
So I hired you and Diana in September. I became interested in this after my grandmother, I cared for her. Both my grandmothers had dementia. I had the privilege to take care of one of them for the last 2 years of her life. She's been gone now for 10 years. At that time, there was little information about what it's like to care for somebody with dementia. So since that time, I've just kind of made it my mission to help educate as many people that want to listen about how we can implement best practices and make everybody in the family make their days go a little bit better. So yeah, I spent the last 7 years working, visiting families who had some type of aging situation. It might have been dementia, it might have been a stroke. However, just helping educate caregivers. I love to teach, I love to train, and I'm born and raised in Bedford, so I love the fact that I'm given the opportunity to train right here in Lawrence County. So I could be more excited for you guys to have this information today. So thank you.
Thank you. So Shelley's going to be my clicker, so I was going to say, sure.
No, I'm not.
We're not taking no for you.
Shelley was going to help me present this, but I didn't print out notes for her, and she doesn't fly by the seat of her pants like I do. She's like, I want it written. What do I need to say? I'm like, I'll just make it up as I go because I know this stuff inside and out. So if you would click. Just to give you a little bit of background about how our office came about. It's going right through it. So back in 2005, out of Bloomington Hospital, there was a department established called the Alzheimer's Resource Service. And at that time, it was kind of just like they had an adult daycare program and a support group, not a whole lot of services, but it was the start. In 2017, Bloomington was recognized as the first dementia-friendly community in Indiana, and that was after about 10 years of more dedication of resources from the Ivy Health Foundation. They hired a full-time educator, they hired a second person, so they already had 2 full-time people, and then they started efforts in Lawrence County because working out of Bloomington Hospital, they actually worked for the whole South Central region, which was 11 counties, which you can imagine trying to cover 11 counties and provide support services for people living with dementia and their care partners. It became a lot. And so they wrote for a grant. After so much interest was found in Lawrence County, they wrote for a grant with Bedford Hospital, and we were awarded the grant in 2020, and that's when the Rural Dementia Network was founded. We were hired in September, so we were hired mid-pandemic, but we still have made a lot of headroads in our efforts on spreading awareness and providing support to people living with dementia. So some statistics, and I know this is small, but there's a lot of statistics that are important. In Indiana, in 2020, there were 110,000 people living with Alzheimer's, age 65 and over. That's age 65 and over. That doesn't even account for the younger onset, which there's a lot of younger onset dementia. We even found out that there are 20 pediatric dementias, if you can imagine. A child growing and thriving and suddenly becoming ill with dementia at an early age.
How is that statistic determined? I mean, is there a reporting?
That is, all these statistics are from the Alzheimer's Association and from U.S. Census data. U.S. Census data and the Alzheimer's Association. So by 2025, that's just in 4 more years, those numbers are projected to increase to about 130,000 people living with Alzheimer's in Indiana. Alzheimer's is the 6th leading cause of death in Indiana. It was the 5th, but COVID outpaced us last year, and so it's the 6th leading cause of death. Lawrence County statistics showed that 20.6% of our population is over the age of 65. That's 4.5% higher than the state average. And the reason that that's important is age is the highest risk factor for developing Alzheimer's or another form of dementia. It's not the only risk factor, but it is the highest. So we have a population that's older than the state on average. Approximately 1 in 10 people age 65 and older have some type of dementia, with the prevalence is a little bit higher in women, and that's whether it's diagnosed or not. These are statistics that are from the Alzheimer's Association. They say that 16% of women 71 years and older suffer from dementia, compared to only 11% of men. So it's a higher risk factor for women. And this is from the Aging and Demographics Memory Study that was conducted. Nationally, 74% of surveyed caregivers of individuals with dementia reported that they and their loved ones have become more isolated because of the disease. Because of this, 85% of those feel that they have a lesser quality of life, even as a caregiver. Dementia tends to be an isolating disease. There's a lot of stigma around that disease.
Of the people that have dementia, 110, do you know how many of those are institutionalized or how many are...
Not very many. 80% of people living with dementia nationwide live in their own homes, try to navigate with their family members, taking care of them.
So there's a caregiver at home.
A caregiver at home, or living by themselves a lot of times. You'd be surprised how many people live. If the statistics are correct and we applied them to Lawrence County, we figured out that based on all the Indiana statistics, it was around 1,700 people in Lawrence County alone living with some type of dementia. It could just be mild cognitive decline, or it could be later onset Alzheimer's. And if you look at Lawrence County, there's under 100 memory care beds. So like Westview has memory care, Garden Villa has memory care, Stonebridge has memory care. Those are the only 3 places that have memory care in Lawrence County. And so there's under 100 beds, and so if there's 1,700 people or so, even if it's 1,500, that's a lot of people living in the community trying to navigate their lives navigate shopping, navigate going out to eat, being cared for in their homes with people who are probably a little bit aged themselves. People, a lot of the caregivers are over the age of 50, and so some secondary health problems can come out of the stress of being a caregiver. So, So what we do, or what we're striving to do at the Rural Dementia Network and at the Alzheimer's and Dementia Resource Service out of Bloomington, is that we offer individual family consultations for people who are living with dementia and for their care partners to help provide resources and information and connections and referrals, help them manage transitions if they decide to move into a type of a residential living situation, help them find in-home support. We provide support groups for those care partners to help them connect with other people who are going through some of the same struggles. We also have some different committees within the county that we coordinate that work on local initiatives for supporting and engaging people who live with dementia. We offer a training course in addition to the state required hours to become a certified nursing assistant or a home health aide. We offer 20 additional hours of dementia care practices because a lot of people who go into healthcare to care for the elderly, they're not really trained in best practices for dementia care, and a lot of problems and burnout and even people being sent to the hospital for behavior situations, a lot of it has to do with the approach of the caregiver. So we try to teach people best practices in approach and care for people living with dementia. We do business trainings because since there's so many people living in the community, we want to make sure that we're trying to be inclusive and welcoming, and we can make little adjustments, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that and some of those availabilities for business trainings. Community education, community events, professional educations, memory screenings, just always looking to identify new programs and ways to help people live well with dementia. Dementia Friendly America has a program for dementia friendly business training, and we utilize their program. In order to be a dementia friendly community, like Lawrence County has that designation, we had to have a kickoff event, and we had to have like stakeholders in important areas of elder care and business to be able to say, yes, we will support the efforts to educate and to bring awareness to our community. And we got that happened in 2018, and Shelley was a big part of that. And she, as a volunteer, but before now she's paid to do it, so it's wonderful. She gets paid for what she loves doing. So, but it's everybody needs to know. Emergency planning needs to know more about dementia. Banks, financial institutions, attorneys, grocery stores, restaurants, you name it, churches, everybody needs to have a bit more awareness in how to recognize when someone may be struggling because of memory decline and be able to have compassion and consideration for their situation. So we do these dementia-friendly business trainings, and I think the next slide is going to show us some of them. This was our first dementia-friendly business in Lawrence County, right?
First one I did.
Yeah, first one she did. Okay, so that's Bailey's Flowers and Gifts. So when you go through dementia-friendly training as an organization,
She picked the low-hanging fruit.
well, I mean, they are related, so.
If you don't know, Shelley's mother and my mother are sisters.
Yeah. So, I mean, but that's just it, and that's how this effort has spread, honestly, is Shelley and I know a lot of people, we have some good friendships and relationships, and once they see the passion and the reason behind taking a training like this and how it can help their community, they're all on board. So at least 50% of your business has to be trained in these practices. And once that happens, you're a dementia-friendly organization. So these next few slides are going to show you, this is Be Fancy Boutique. They went through the training, and they have a little, everybody gets a little window sticker. You can kind of see it up there. A little cling that tells you're a dementia-friendly business. American Family Insurance, Robbie Bro did it just yesterday. This is fresh, hot off the presses. Just yesterday, their Red Law office did it. So there's lots of businesses, about 25 or 30. We'll go to the next one. And then what we're really proud of is that we got Sam Craig on board, and he has had every city department has now been trained in dementia-friendly practices, including the fire department, which is right here, the Parks Department, which we're going to do a walkthrough and do some signage changes to help them get to level 2 designation. There's a picture of City Hall. We've got the Police Department. We also have our healthcare organizations. This is one of the classes that we did a couple weeks ago for Southern Indiana Physicians Group out of IU Bedford. We also, we're partnering with St. Vincent Dunn as well. Even though we're an IU Health program, we want to be for the whole community. And so the Senior Renewal Center out of Dunn Hospital went through the training, and I'm speaking to their physicians group next week. So we've also done some fundraising for dementia-friendly efforts as well, as the Wings and Rings has helped us a couple of times on some fundraising. So it's really been well received. So congratulations to Lawrence County on embracing this initiative. These are just some pictures from, I told you about the additional training that we do for CNAs and home health days. These are some of the classes that we've held locally. We have 4 students going through one right now out of Paola Health and Living. They just did their dementia part of the training, and I think they're coming up on their clinicals pretty soon. There were 3 high school students that got their certificate yesterday or the day before. So, I mean, we're trying to really build a strong, qualified workforce that is skilled in caring for people with these special attention that the person living with dementia needs. It's not something that you can just approach like any other illness, because there's brain changes and there's connections that are not happening anymore, and you need to know about them if you're going to care for somebody. So what lies ahead? We're working on right now designation for all of Bedford Hospital, so that every department in Bedford Hospital has been through the training. We're also working to establish these same kind of efforts in Orange County. We're expanding the dementia-friendly business training, so if your business or anybody that you know in business wants to do the training, it's free. It takes an hour. You get a little sticker for your window. You get featured on our Facebook and our website, and then you get to have the I don't know what the word is, not pride, but just knowing that you did something for your community to make sure that everybody's included, including people living with dementia and the people caring for them. And then we also want to bring people with dementia and their care partners to the table in our efforts. We want them to help guide us, help us develop programs, or tell us what they need. So if you know somebody living with dementia, or someone caring for somebody, and you think they would help us to make sure we're focusing our efforts in the right direction, that's part of being inclusive, is the people that you're trying to help are at the table with you. So we want them at the table. So if you know of anybody, please let us know. And we're also going to be bringing some brain health and prevention education to the community. We've contacted the UCLA Longevity Center, and we are attending a training next week, and hopefully we'll be able to start bringing some brain health training to the community as well. So that's the end of my presentation. I know it's kind of pushing the limit here on 1 o'clock, but this quote is a quote we use a lot in our dementia-friendly training. The greatness of a community is most accurately measured by the compassionate actions of its members. And I feel like Lawrence County has shown the compassion that has brought them to the point where they are a dementia-friendly community. We're going to expand those efforts, and so thank you guys for letting us speak to you today, and please let us know if you have any interest. Do we pass out those little things? Our business cards are on with the little stack of stuff that we gave you. And so if you have a business that you're affiliated with, or you want to know more about the training, you could email either one of us, Shelley or I, or you could call us. We'd be happy to get that information to you and schedule something. So thank you.
Question.
Yes, question.
What about, are there any medications that have been proven to be somewhat helpful in dementia patients?
There are
And what's your
some-
opinion of Prevagen, the over-the-counter route?
Well, there are some medications that help with symptoms, and there's a new medication that was just recently given temporary FDA approval, and the Alzheimer's Association and some of the experts are kind of on the fence about this new medication because it's not really been studied long enough to, that it's being touted as something that can actually stop or slow, really truly slow Alzheimer's progression and stop the proteins being built in the brain. But it's a new drug. There's some drugs that help with symptoms, but as far as a cure, there is no cure. There's lots of anecdotal, like herbal things and dietary things, and none of those things can, I mean, I won't say none of them can hurt, but none of them are proven or scientific. And if they work for you, great. You know, if they don't, even people who take some of the medications for dementia have the opposite reaction of what it's supposed to do for them based on what type of dementia they have. Like there's Namenda and there's Aricept and there's Exelon. There's a couple of different medications, and you have to remember that Alzheimer's is just one kind of dementia. There's over 100, and the term dementia is the umbrella term. So depending upon what type of dementia you have, a medication may do devastating things to you. My father, for example, had Lewy body dementia. There is any medication you give somebody with Lewy body is going to be devastating to them, and you just can't do it. So it just depends. There's no good cure, no good treatment, and that's where the frustration and the ongoing efforts and research are focused. There are a lot of people who say diet can help, herbal stuff, and we're going to bring some of that brain health stuff. Diet's going to help anyway, reduce your risk factor. Diet, exercise.
The rule of thumb is that it's good for your heart, it's good for your liver.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're taking good, if you're eating well, you're exercising, and you're staying active and social, it's good for your brain too.
Great, can I just make one quick announcement? So they passed out a bunch of swag, so I just wanted to say that this is sunscreen, so you can drop it in your pocket or something, just a little packet of sunscreen. And then they gave you a phone wallet. So this morning I went to the coffee talk for the chamber, and I put everybody's business card in there. So it fits right in there. It's awesome. You just put it on the back of your phone, and you'll always have a little wallet to put something in. So thank you for letting us present. Awesome job. I want to thank these wonderful ladies, Shelly and Diana, for coming today. I want to thank Troy for making the soup, doing the decorations, making the cupcakes. She was amazing, and I mean, I could not have done this without her. So thank you all for letting us celebrate Alice's baby, and yeah, it was just really fun. Thank you.
Of course, this was a power-packed Rotary meeting. We had a good time today and had a lot of fun. Thank you, Diane, for coming. Shelley, too, for your part. All right, as Rotarians, we work within the community, and how do we work? Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? And was it fun? Yes, it was. Thank you. Have a wonderful week.